views and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Outdoors People with me, CW Getz, and her, Maya Marzocchi. Good evening. It's Wednesday, September 20th, 2023. We've got a beautiful 76-degree Fahrenheit day. That is 25 Celsius, kids. Sunny and calm. I'm going to tell you, if there was a perfect late summer day, today is it. I mean, today is it. It's just so beautiful outside. There's no really wind. It's wonderful. Top that, Maya. Just top that.
Yeah, that's why you have such a big smile on your face. I'm glad to hear and to see you happy like that.
Doesn't happen that often, man. It's
yes, right. I'm glad.
Take it when you can get it. What you got there?
Yes, my winter, it is warmer than your summer with 28 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
It equates 82 degrees Fahrenheit in a lovely sunny day.
You beat us. You actually beat us. So the tables are starting to turn as we, we're 30 below zero and you're like 90 degrees down there. It's just start to
90, 100.
Yeah. I still remember the video you said, you go, oh my gosh, you still want to go move here? Because we were talking that was, it's so freaking hot. I'm ready to die. I'm like, I still remember that.
Yeah, the summer is too hot.
Yeah, it was the middle of the winter when you said that. I go, yeah, I think I'll trade you for a while. But yeah. Well, that's nice. Beautiful days. Well, tonight's episode of Outdoors People is brought to you by Rutabaga Paddle Sports, providing time on the water.
By Campground Views, making camping easier.
By Duluth Pack, made in the USA since 1882.
And by Jackson Kayak, pursuing draw through paddle sports.
Tonight's episode is Feeling Good for Outdoor Activity with our special guest, Jessie Meany. Jessie Meany has a deep connection with nature, which has always been her favorite place to be. Growing up hunting, fishing, and hiking with her father, she also learned gardening from her mother. These days, along with her husband, Jessie continues to engage in these same outdoor activities. Jessie also grows her own plants for food and to support pollinators, as well as growing dry herbs for use as healing remedies. She subscribes to the philosophy that growing food and being involved with nature is essential for healing the mind, body, and soul. Professionally, Jessie's research involved patterns in nature and ways to tune into these cycles. She has studied how the human body responds to environmental changes in nature and how to incorporate that cycle into daily life. Jessie is a shamanic high priestess, initial guide, Reiki master and teacher, and massage therapist. She employs natural, holistic, and shamanic practices to encourage a healthier lifestyle for herself, her family, and her clients. And with that, welcome to the show, Jessie.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah. Okay. I messed up something here. I'm going to ask you. Initiated, because I can read. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Small country school. What can I say?
That's okay. And it's something most people probably haven't heard of anyway. So I'll give it to you this time.
Yes. Thank you. I'm going to need it. And for the people that don't know, Jessie is one of our co-hosts here, and she's done we've done actually remote broadcasts in Wisconsin. I'm trying to think, Canucopia. So, and you've been here and doing that several times.
I have. I've bounced around a little bit with you.
Yeah. So if I got two wonderful co-hosts here tonight, one of them a guest on this episode. So, we're going to be talking about some cool stuff. But yeah.
And a year ago, I was being interviewed by you as well. So both of us were this.
Forgot about that.
Which are the positions.
I know. We're changing seats today.
Well, I was looking forward for this show because I have many questions.
Great.
So, sorry.
I said I'll answer them the best I can.
So, what type of things do you see people commonly suffering from that they could likely remedy themselves?
So there's a lot of things going on with people these days. Everybody comes in with aches and pains. Very seldomly do I see people come in like for massage or Reiki who just want to relax. It's always great when they do, but most of the time there's some indication of pain, something they're looking to relieve. Two main places are shoulders and low back. So I'm sure you guys have experienced one of these or both of them at some point in your life. We get shoulder pain. Our whole work is in front of us. Like everything we do, whether we're on a computer, whether we're in the kitchen cooking a meal, usually we're like hunched over and working in front of us. And then of course our low back is like the base of the spine. All like a lot of weight sits on that low back. So if we're on our feet, even if we're sitting down and that tailbone's receiving pressure from sitting down, we can find ourselves with a lot of aches and pains in our body.
You know what's funny? I experienced that not long ago. It's like, what did I do? I didn't fall, but my tail. I go, what in the world did I do? But that's what it's from, huh? Just too much sitting in front of a computer or what?
It could be. There's so many reasons why we get aches and pains. Years and years ago, I remember taking a continuing education class, and the name of the class was The Mystery of Pain.
I like that.
Yeah, because it can be so mysterious for the reason that there's so many causes. I mean, you can go to the doctor for pain and you can chase your tail trying to figure it out. Today, we're going to talk about just one issue that we see, one cause, okay? A lot of the time when we see something going on in our muscles, it's a disconnect from the brain. So we have our nervous system runs out throughout our body, right? And it runs into our muscles. We have something called proprioceptors in our body.
Wow.
What these little guys do is they tell our brain where we're at. So if I want to raise my hand like this, I don't have to look at my hand to know that I'm raising my hand. I have proprioceptors, like sensors in my hand that connect to my brain that let me know my hand is over here. So essentially they tell us where our body is in space. That's what our proprioceptors are.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah. If the proprioceptors in the brain lose communication, then there's a lack of understanding where your body is. So you might come up with a shoulder that's slightly rotated forward and it's not back the way it should be. And you're starting to get pain because muscles are being overstretched when they shouldn't be, or maybe they're being shortened and contracted when they shouldn't be. So that's one way that we can see pain come across in our bodies is just a lack of communication. So that's kind of a mystery we're going to delve into today.
Maya, do you get this kind of stuff when you're working on a computer? I mean, because I do.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I'm glad that she's here because my brain and my body, they are completely disconnected because I live in pain pretty much because I work like 10 hours a day in my computer and then I work hard at the gym every day. And then in weekends, I stress my body so much, climbing and hiking. So I got to use it to live in pain and it's terrible, actually.
Oh, no. Do you get this stuff in in your middle of your back like I do? Muscles that knot up and stuff because I go to Jesse's my massage therapist, and I say I've got a knot in my back. I mean, it's just killing me. And sometimes, it's even hard to move your neck when you've got that going on. You ever get that, Maya?
Yes, all the time. And the doctor said exactly the same thing she said, because we're always at the computer. So we turn up the, like the back, make like a C with the back, and then the pain comes.
Well, Jesse, what causes those knots and your muscles to knot like in your back, like we were just talking about? What causes?
Yeah. So what you guys are talking about, especially with being at the computer and really working in front of us all the time. So these muscles in your back and your shoulders are they're being stretched. Okay. They're being overstretched, probably trying to hold on for dear life.
Oh,
and then a lot of people think they want to go and, I'm going to loosen up. I'm going to stretch my muscles. Well, here you have an overstretched muscle and then you're going to go try and stretch it some more.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there's kind of like a misunderstanding of what we really need to do here. What we're going to talk about is actually activating muscles. So activating a muscle will help give it a little power, and again, help it reconnect to the brain so it can understand where it is. So there's that, not that confusion. You know, if your shoulders rotated forward and you maybe want to take it forward a little bit to just to reconnect it, and it'll be like, oh, I understand what I'm doing now. And then it might go back for you.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you want to do a little demonstration so I can show you just a few quick moves for shoulder and low back?
Yeah.
This isn't going to cover everything, but if you have a day where you're feeling achy and you can't quite get into like the chiropractor, massage therapist, this might help you.
I think that would be very cool. Let's give that a shot.
Okay.
We'll
cool.
turn the camera on Maya so that we can, because we're gonna try something new here, kids, at on the Outdoors People's Show. So bear with us.
Yes, and I'm looking forward. I'm glad that she's going to show it to us because I'm sure I'm going to use that every single day to make my pain less.
2 low back moves. All right. What we're looking to do is activate really muscles in the core, because if our low back hurts, something's not keeping our core straight, our posture straight. We're going to have to get down on the floor. And the first motion you're trying to do is like you're kicking a ball from your knee. Okay. But you need to activate that muscle. So you need resistance. You need something to stop you. So I'm going to slip my foot underneath the couch and I'm going to kick up. So you can't tell, but what I'm trying to do is this, but the couch is stopping me from that motion. And I'm pushing my low back into the ground, and it's activating these muscles that can cause aches in the low back. Okay? So that's a simple trick you can do. We'll do one more for the low back. I'm going to need to use the wall. So I'm going to come over here. And CW is going to hate this, but I'm going to put my feet on his wall. So what we're trying to do is put our feet up. We want to aim for about a 90-degree angle with our knees. And we're pushing our feet into the wall and pushing the low back into the ground. Okay? Think grounding your low back, pushing it into the ground, pushing your feet on the wall. That drops some of those lower vertebrae down and helps release those muscles. Okay? So that's a couple great tricks for low back pain. Now let's do a couple for shoulder pain. Remember, we're working on activating muscles. That's why we push, we activate the muscle, and we hold it for a few seconds, probably about 10 seconds. So when you have your feet on the ground or on the wall, you're pushing them against the wall, pushing your low back in. Think push down for 10 seconds and then release for 10 seconds. Then try it again. Push down for 10 seconds and release for 10 seconds. That's helping get that muscle pattern reestablished. Same thing with shoulders. So I'm going to show you something we can do for our shoulder. This not only helps release some of the muscles around our shoulders that can cause that neck pain, but it also helps get some of the synovial fluid moving in our shoulders. We do have, it's called synovial fluid. It helps the joint move, kind of like if you need to, oil a machine so you have movement and you don't have resistance there. Same thing with our body. This helps get synovial fluid moving. So all you're doing is, again, try and think of a 90-degree angle here, and you're letting your shoulder push into the wall. I have a washcloth here because most of us have a bony elbow, right? There's not a lot of padding on that. So you might want something between the wall and your elbow so you don't hurt your elbow. This is just simply leaning in. Give yourself some time to relax into it. The body might resist this for a little bit, and you might be trying to hold yourself up. If you need a little bit more movement, yeah, and if you look down at my legs, I'm not going like this. My hips aren't sagging towards the wall, and I'm not going like this. I'm straight. You see that? Yeah.
So
And then I might even move my arm up and down like this. That's gonna help. We have the joint moving like this. So it's putting movement in the joint, and all those muscle attachments are getting a little bit of work, okay?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We're gonna do another one because the shoulder is like, it is responsible for some neck pain. Our neck sits on our shoulders, and if we get tight shoulders, things can start to pull there. Next one is putting your shoulder or your forearm up against the wall. So I'm gonna put my arm up against the wall, and what I'm basically doing is this motion. But again, I need resistance to reset the muscle pattern. So I'm gonna push my shoulder or my forearm into the wall, maybe give it about 10 seconds, and then you can step away and give the body what it wants. It wants to do this.
So you're putting your weight into that a little bit.
I'm trying not to put my weight into it. I'm trying to just have it come from my arm.
Okay.
Okay? And if you do that, you're gonna feel it in here.
Right in your shoulder. Okay.
Yep, in your shoulder. Okay.
Very cool.
So you do the resistance part of it, and then you step away, and then your body wants to complete the motion, so let it complete the motion.
Okay.
Same thing when I was laying on the floor and doing the kicking the ball type of movement.
Mhm.
Back up from the couch and let your body complete the motion. Give it what it wants.
Interesting.
Okay?
Oh, that's cool.
And then, you were talking about like that pain in the middle of the back.
I'm
You
getting
get
one
those
now.
knots.
Yeah.
All right.
Just
I'm a
roll
big
the camera.
advocate for push-ups.
Oh.
So if you can do them on the ground, great, but push-ups are gonna strengthen everything. They're gonna strengthen your pecs, shoulders, it's gonna strengthen back here.
Okay.
A lot of the times, weak muscles are angry muscles, okay? If you can't do a push-up on the ground, do a wall push-up, okay?
Okay. So you're leaning backwards a little bit. Yeah. Little.
It at least, if you do a wall push-up, you're at least activating the muscles.
Yeah.
You get better, do them on the ground. Strong muscles are gonna hold your body better, and you're gonna have less aches and pains when you're going through the day.
Oh, very cool.
Okay.
Interesting. I may just start doing that.
Yes, you do.
I love it. Why? You got any questions?
No, I don't have question, guys. I think that she explained it exactly like the best way she could. I love it.
Perfect.
Good. All right.
So we are going to a little break. Don't go away because we will be back.
A few years ago, someone asked Rutabaga's owner, Darren Bush, "Hey, how long have you guys been selling boats?" Darren replied, "Well, we don't sell boats. We sell time on the water." Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutabaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com. Mention you saw this ad on The Camping Show.
It is time to go camping. Introducing Campground Views virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sites, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road and explore the amazing places found in nature. We make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground Views virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
Duluth Pack is handcrafted for every lifestyle, making memories since 1882. In store at 365 Canal Park Drive or online at duluthpack.com.
We're one big family, a community of paddlers, and we want to make sure that everyone has a great time out on the water.
We are made right here in Sparta, Tennessee, USA.
This is where every Jackson kayak is born, built by hand with a focus on innovation.
We are Jackson Kayak.
We are
Jackson Kayak.
We're Jackson Kayak.
We are Jackson Kayak.
And we're back with our guest, Jessie Meany, LMT. By the way, LMT, I actually did know this. Well, it's licensed massage therapist. So very cool. It's always cool when you got like an acronym at the end of your name, like DR. LMT, I love that. I wanted to ask you, by the way, thank you for the demonstration. That was amazing. Yeah, very helpful. What's the biggest cause of joint? Now, everybody talks about joint inflammation. And I take some supplements for that. And I do notice when I don't take them or I skip them, the joints start hurting a little bit. But what's the biggest cause of that?
Joint inflammation is usually caused by, environmental stuff and what we're putting in our body. So if you're eating garbage, you're going to make garbage cells in your body. So it really is like when they said you are what you eat, that's true stuff. So let's talk about maybe some of the major inflammation foods. Unfortunately, there's a lot of garbage in a lot of foods. Like if you're not eating just meat, fruits, and vegetables, like the normal stuff that you can read in a package, you're probably eating something that can cause inflammation.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about like pizza, for instance?
Pizza is delicious.
See, I eat a lot
What's
of
your
pizza.
question?
I eat a lot of pizza. And, I used to drink plenty of beer, probably enough for me, you and Maya put together. But
yeah,
I don't do that as much. And I'm wondering, is that like bad? People would, have.
Yeah, unfortunately, pizza does have one of the major inflammation causers. So
why did Juan just say used to? He just texted me down. I love it.
Well,
I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt
are you
you.
trying to cover something up?
Yeah, well, he was trying to apply here. I said,
Yeah.
Anyway, but I'm sorry. Go ahead. What is that?
So actually, like grains and gluten really are one of your inflammation foods.
Oh, wow.
So if you're really active, I can use myself as an example. I started getting runner's knee when I was 18, which is pretty young to have that type of problem. And I just remember my doctor telling me, oh, it'll heal, but it'll be like watching an oak tree grow. Like I didn't get a lot of answers there.
Oh.
But I found out later in life when I cut out grains altogether, my runner's knee went away. So I thought, well, I'm thinking that I'm going to research this a little bit more because I have so many clients who are athletic and they come in with a lot of aches and pains, a lot of joint stuff, and a lot of inflammation in like it's like a lot of muscle attachments and tendons.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of inflammation settles, is like those moving parts, right? That we need to move.
Right.
So we can stay active and be outdoors.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely.
Yeah. So unfortunately, pizza is one of those things that can get us, but alcohol definitely does. This is a tough blow for a lot of people, including myself. Caffeine causes inflammation. Yes.
Wow.
I know.
Okay. All right. So if you're drinking decaf, you're probably okay.
No, because there's still some caffeine, and then it has to go through like this decaffeinating process. I don't even know if that's the right word to use, but it doesn't make it better for you. Long story short.
Wow.
So our caffeine products are tough, and they're usually what we're like choosing to keep us going. So I know that's a tough one to swallow for a lot of people.
I'm pissed now. I'm sorry.
Yes, it doesn't make sense because why there is caffeine and sports supplement and stuff like that for athletes if it is not good for our joint?
Yeah, they do we wind up with caffeine and supplements with medicines. I think part of the reason is to get it into the system maybe a little bit sooner. But there is a lot of natural foods that have caffeine in them, but it doesn't change the fact that it doesn't work well with our bodies. Now, some people are going to be more sensitive to this than others. You're going to be able to look at other people and be like, well, why can they drink so much coffee and I can't, or whatever they have. But usually it catches up to people eventually.
Yeah, it once said lots of caffeine and pre-workout supplements. Yeah,
and that's a very dangerous combination if you didn't eat.
Yeah. What is that? 5-hour energy. I watch these people sue me now, but 5-hour energy. I know lots of. I mean, and athletes drink that stuff. I mean, that's
And you see people dropping on the field and during workouts. If you have all that caffeine and then you don't eat something, your heart has a really hard time with that.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it can cause some issues.
So these are the inflammatory. Is that what I'm saying that correctly?
Yeah. What do we go through? Caffeine, alcohol, grains, those are like your top 3.
Okay.
And of course, all your processed food. So for me personally, in my family, we try and stick with just foods that we know how to pronounce. So you're not looking at this label and being like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
So it's like meat, fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds. That's the gist of it.
So meat, like that's not a problem. Meat and stuff like that is not a deal, right?
No, I mean, everybody's different. And I know everybody has like their different, diets they prefer.
Yeah.
But it's not, in low quantities, it's not that big of a deal.
So pasta's grains is
Mhm.
are taters better than
Yes.
Are they?
Potatoes are still good. We do need sugars. I know potatoes get like that bad rap because they're a starchy food, but really like the brain needs sugar to function.
So that peppermint after dinner is not a bad deal, right?
Oh my gosh.
I do. You know I do, Mike.
The brain and the nervous system needs sugar, and you want your brain and your nervous system to stay connected well to your muscles so your body knows what it's doing.
Yeah.
Again, when we were talking about those proprioceptors getting kind of offbeat, diet can be a factor, because if we have inflammation interfering with not just our joints but our brain and our nervous system, then the communication throughout our whole body is being thrown off.
That's wow.
And you want to be like, if you're hiking out of the trail, you want to be able to put your foot exactly where you want to put it. You want your body to go where you need it to go to keep you active, to keep you safe.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? That is huge.
Yeah.
Maya, how are you scoring here? Because I believe I've failed in several different categories before. It's like, beer, pizza,
yeah.
all that coffee. I mean, oh my God. I'm looking at a big fat on this test. How are you doing?
Yeah, I am with you, man. I am a rude coffee drinker, and my family is half Italian and half Brazilian. So we pretty much eat grains, pizza, wine, beer. So everything that's wrong. But I do feel in my body when I drink and I eat those things, I feel much, much worse. So in my regular day, in like weekdays, I don't eat and I don't those stuffs and I don't drink. But if I'm with my family, everything's wrong.
Yeah. So we get a big fat F there, both of us, don't we? Love it.
Yeah.
Oh
Totally. We failed.
I don't feel so bad because like we both do. If it was just me, I would go, oh my God, I really got a long way to go. But so
it's pretty much everybody, and you don't have to say, oh, I'm never going to have this ever again. My husband and I have an anniversary coming up. You bet I'm going to have a glass of wine.
Oh,
okay. Just most of the time I'm going to be better. But
overall, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah. And if you have something once in a while, your body will be able to process that. It's when we have every day and a lot, then things get gunked up in the liver. It can't process everything because it's overwhelmed as it is. But if you're eating mostly healthy and then you have some stuff here and there, your body can handle some stuff. It's meant to handle some stuff.
Wow.
So yes, it's about balance, right? So in the weekdays, I eat properly, and then in the weekend, I give myself the pleasure of drinking and eating pizza. That's fine.
There you go. And it's all about your balance and knowing you. Some people are more sensitive to some things, and other people can tolerate more. So as long as you know you and how to work with that, you're probably going to be fine.
I think Juan's an alcoholic. He just said peppermint schnapps. So I think we got a problem done. Sorry, Juan, just picking on you a little bit there.
Anna, I have the 1 million question. How much does the stress affect muscles tightness?
How much does stress affect muscle tightness?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that stress is a huge factor. We're in it every day. Like the modern lifestyle is crazy, but how our bodies act and respond to everything is based off of what we're doing every single day. How we grow the cells in our body, how we're growing, even these like muscle cells depend on like what we're exposed to. And that's like your work life. That's the music you listen to, whatever you're watching on TV. Of course, we just covered diet a little bit, but stress again gets into that nervous system. Like, again, we're talking about brain and your nerves. And if we're disrupting that communication factor, again, we're disrupting muscles and movement and becoming sore again.
Let me ask you this before we go to commercial break, because I know we're coming up on that. If let's just say you're doing the things, you're exercising regularly, you're eating, reasonably healthy most of the time, like you do, Jess. Can stress still cause the things that we were just talking about, like a knot in your muscle or muscle tightness or things like that? Can stress override a lot of stuff?
Yeah, stress can do. Your mind is like your superpower. So whatever your mind is going through, it's going to reflect through your body. So even if you are eating healthy, if your mind is on overdrive all the time and your adrenals are pumping all the time, then yeah, you're going to see that throughout your body.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's stress is a bad deal, man. See, we should all be drunken, and I'm just making that up. I'm not advocating us being drunk. So disclaimer.
It doesn't make it go away. It just hides it from your face.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah, there you go. Good answer. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Well, for me, do not stress out with CW drinking. We are going to a little break, so don't go away. We'll be back.
A few years ago, someone asked Rutabaga's owner, Darren Bush, "Hey, how long have you guys been selling boats?" Darren replied, "Well, we don't sell boats. We sell time on the water." Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutubaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com. Mention you saw this ad on The Camping Show.
It is time to go camping. Introducing Campground Views virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sights, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road and explore the amazing places found in nature. We make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground Views virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
Duluth Pack is handcrafted for every lifestyle, making memories since 1882. In store at 365 Canal Park Drive or online at duluthpack.com.
We're one big family, a community of paddlers, and we want to make sure that everyone has a great time out on the water.
We are made right here in Sparta, Tennessee, USA.
This is where every Jackson kayak is born. Built by hand with a focus on innovation.
We are Jackson Kayak.
We are
Jackson Kayak.
We're Jackson Kayak.
We are Jackson Kayak.
And we're back with Jesse Meany, and we had kind of did this little out of segment or out of order here, but I put the demonstrations here, so we already did that. But I wanted to ask you, Jesse, you teach online. You teach some classes, do you not?
I do.
Yeah. What do you tell us about that?
So a lot of the classes I teach online have to do with like personal growth and spiritual growth, actually. So it's a really great way to take a look at yourself and see where you need to make changes or adjustments in life. So that you can live your life to its fullest, so you can be happier, so you can drop the stress and start kind of planning like what you want your future to look like and what direction you want to go. And with the spiritual part, we're learning what our purpose in life actually is, because we all have one of those.
Cool.
Yeah.
Juan's got a question for you. Go ahead, Juan.
Okay.
Is he
Juan,
there?
where are you?
Yes, where is
Oh,
Juan? The ghost in the machine.
yeah.
Where is he at?
I was actually
Talk
going
to
to
us, brother.
type,
Talk
but
to us.
I'll come in.
Oh, there you go. You're
Yeah, yeah.
here. We can
All
hear
right.
you
So
now.
the question is that I tore my right lat like 6 years ago, and from time to time I'll get muscle spasms. Is there anything that I can do to prevent that?
Okay, so yeah, you had an injury. So you're looking again at reactivating muscles, kind of like what we were talking about. When you have an injury, sometimes, actually, a lot of the times, what can happen is certain muscles take over for the part that was injured in your body. Then when you heal up, they don't actually switch jobs back to the way it normally would, unless maybe your physical therapist was really great and was able to do that with you. But you might still have muscles that aren't firing in the right order, or proprioceptors that are still not connected to your brain to the way they should be to get you working again.
Now,
but-
what does he do physically? Is there something he should do, like one of the exercises you just showed us out there?
For lats,
Yeah, for lats, right?
yeah, you could reach out to me and I could probably come up with some stuff for you, but it's really hard to know exactly without testing the muscle myself and seeing exactly where you are and where it would be coming from, because you most likely have something, like I said, a muscle overriding another one, and you'd have to know which one it is.
Oh, so
like for me,
one of them's making up for the one that's injured. Then basically, is what
yeah, there's something in there that's probably making up for it.
Interesting.
You see that a lot with injuries.
What I see lots on with climbers, of course, it is that the muscles develop much more than another things in the body, like for example, articulations. And so sometimes those articulations or another stuff are not as strong as the muscle. And you think you are strong enough because you have muscle, and then you have an injury. Mainly in the fingers, like the parts you move the fingers, and the elbow as well. What do you recommend for that?
So your muscles, like your fingers, right? They're strong because you're always gripping, right?
Yeah.
Because you're talking about rock climbing.
yeah, right.
So a
Yeah.
lot of these are going to be like super strong and super tight. So one thing I feel like, so your muscles you're probably wanting to do this. What you can do is take it a little bit farther and turn it in all the way and let that muscle release, and then kind of like move your finger a little bit.
Oh, wow.
So you're actually working to release this. I actually do this with stroke victims, people who get like the contracture of their hand starts to go like this. We'll take it further. The body wants to do this. So we're like, okay, let's do it. Let's give you that like satisfaction of going all the way. And then I can usually straighten their fingers out after, and that's any muscle. If you see it going a certain way, give it more of what it's trying to do or what it wants. And then you can probably stretch it out and loosen it up.
Well, that's nice. Feels good, actually.
Wherever, I guess with your lats, wherever you are, you can try. I wonder if I can do a demonstration like this. I'm gonna give it a try. So bear with me.
We're experimenting all over the place.
I know.
I love it.
So, because we're talking about like right here, like kind of in your back, you can try and arch it around. So you're putting some like lax in that muscle. So a lot of times we think we want to stretch it out. Try and do the opposite and almost turn your body into a C around that muscle and see if it'll loosen up for you.
Wow. So you're
Okay.
kind of, interesting.
Like making like a cave around it. Wherever the pain is, put your fingers on it and then try and turn your body into a little bit of a C that way.
It's very interesting because when I went to a hospital one time, the doctor told me to do the opposite and stretch it out.
Yeah, that's there's some misconception there with muscles. And like it takes extra like learning and experience to get to this. It's not, with the people with, like we were talking about the hand, you would normally think, well, if my hand's going like this, I should pull them out and stretch them out. But it's not just about the muscle, it's about the brain connection to the muscle too. And that's what needs to be studied further by people. But, unless you're a specialist, a physical therapist would know stuff like this, but it's possible that a doctor might not have gotten this information.
That's what I got from it, because he was kind of like, yeah, here's some pills, stretch it out, goodbye.
Yeah. That's
Well, and here's evidence. How did that work out for you thus far? I mean, obviously you're asking the question now because it didn't work that well for you. What he gave you, so doctors, what do they know? I don't know.
Well, they know what they're talking. We know what we're taught.
Some of them do. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I got a bad diagnosis when I had kidney cancer. I got a diagnosis that was not accurate. I won't tell you his name. I don't want to be sued, but they're not always correct.
Well, everybody makes mistakes, and when we're coming forward with information on the human body, there's so much, and we're out here in an environment with chemicals and all kinds of stuff, stress, TVs, media, everything's coming at us all the time. So it's usually not just one thing. Yeah. Usually if we get an injury, unless maybe a rock falls on your arm when you get an injury, but if you throw your back out, something's been happening for a long time leading up to that, and it finally happened. It's like the straw that broke
the camel's
back. Yeah.
You were going to say that.
Yep.
Wow. That's interesting because not long ago, in fact, I said, hey, Jess, you want to do an episode? And
I'm like, no way, I'm never doing anything with you.
Well, it's funny. What's
I
funny
don't blame you.
Pick on the show host. Anyway, no, I woke up one day and I'm telling you, I could not. There was like a knife stabbing me in the back, and I'm like, what the hell did I do? And it was just, I woke up. That's all I did. And it was just like that. And so what you're saying sounds very it didn't, there's nothing I did in my sleep that I recall, but it was something, there was a bunch of things that maybe led up to that point then, what you're saying. And that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. You have to look at the whole picture. What is your lifestyle like? And that's what I go over with my online classes with people. It's what's your stress level like? What are you doing during the day? What kind of foods are you eating? What kind of thoughts are you having throughout the day? Because your thoughts create your life. So most people are just on autopilot. They're just running through their life thinking, whatever. And they're not actively thinking about how to make their life better, how to feel better, or reduce stress.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great point. I can see in my regular day that people are completely disconnected, the brain and the body. People don't realize that they have a body and they need to take care of that, to still living and going to work and doing outdoor stuff. And also the knowledge of the engineer of the body and the magical stuff for sports and athletes, it is something very new. People are studying now how the body actually works and how we can improve for activities and sports in general, right?
Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very cool.
And Jesse, where can people find you online?
Well, I do have my Facebook page that is probably the most active, Jessie Meany LMT. My website I'm going to be having a new website that's under construction, so that's going to be up and coming, and I can get that information out soon when it's all done.
Excellent. Well, Jesse, listen, we want to thank you here for coming on the show, and it was a very sort of a, hey, by the way, let's do one of these episodes, because I suffer from this stuff all the time here behind the computer, and I'm in here a lot, Maya and I kind of compare notes. She's like 10 hours. I'm like 10 hours, 12 hours doing stuff in here. In fact, I have to tell you, I'm not able to go out and do a lot of outdoor stuff that I was doing previous to this show. And I spent a lot of time in here, and Maya knows that, but and so I do get those pains and those knots and things like that. And I thought, you know what, I'm sure other people have this happen too. So I thought, let's do an episode. So I really appreciate you accommodating us and coming on the air and talking about this sort of thing. So,
oh yeah, you bet.
I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you very much for being here. I think that it's something that everyone wants to know and wants to hear, and everyone feels pain.
Yeah, everybody wants to feel good, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I still drink Heineken. Sorry,
We
Maya.
cannot have it all.
Better put that in there.
That's funny. Well, we'd also want to thank each of our sponsors for bringing you tonight's show. Rutabaga Pedal Sports, Campground Views, Duluth Pack, and Jackson Kayak.
Tune in for next week's episode, Kite Surfing Around the World, with our guest, Ilona Shadego. Along with Maya Marzaki, this is CW Getz saying thanks for tuning in to Outdoors People. See you next week.
Ciao. Ciao.